So anyway, when you're a young pup, that's why we talk a lot about the young frogs and the big frogs. There's a big difference between hormones, and we'll talk more about that in the next episodes of Iowa Boy. So anyway, today we will finish up, with me dating the brainy woman, and she was, amazing in bed. We had an awesome time, but you know what? She moved on and became a brain surgeon, and I got bit by a tick, and that's why they called me Tick Man, because I used to work out my back so much that my back had this big old spread, and they'd call me Tick Man. Kind of fit the suit, because I got bit by a tick when I was like 16 out in Virginia. Came home back to Iowa, and I got sick as shit. And they said, "Oh, you got MS, you got Parkinson's," back then, encephalitis, whatever. They had no clue about Lyme. They had clues about Lyme. They knew what Lyme was, but anyway, they don't tell you that shit. Anyway, well, I struggled with that most of my life, and we'll talk more about that later in another Iowa Boy episode, because that's Tick Man episode. Ticks are a great aphrodisiac. Anyway, I used to eat them all the time. So, so we're back to the point of hormones and young men. After I got that tick bite, it's not something I have to ponder on. I look at it and I see what happened to me after that tick bite. I got really sick. I got all these weird arthritis and all these weird. I was sick all the time. I really think that's when I contracted EBV as a young child. The kissing disease, the glandular disease. We all have it. 98% of us anyway. But anyway, being bit by that tick, man, just it screwed up my life. So, and I was working out a lot back then, because I wanted to be a football player and everything. And that tick, it took a big breath out of me. Let's put it that way, and it slowed me down. So, like when I was in high school, I didn't get the hair on my balls. So obviously, I had to design the frog, custom frog designer. I had to figure it out, and I worked my way up from 1 to 10. And you see the results when I got to college, man. I had hair on my balls. I looked good, So I talk about those things because, growing up in the Midwest, being a hunter, being a fisherman, I was pulling ticks off left and right, Nobody's telling me these little fuckers could hurt me someday, but whatever. But there's preventative things that we can do, and we'll talk more about that on Iowa Boy, things you can eat, stuff like that. Just things to be just smart about, because, man, I ain't gonna stop fishing, and I ain't gonna stop hunting because of some goddamn bug and something he's carrying that maybe humankind maybe exploited. I don't know. Anyway, Lyme disease, Connecticut, all that shit, it's a big controversy. Just look it up. It's all cool. You guys can get your own information, man. I don't have to tell you shit about nothing. This is Iowa Boy, and we got more to come. More episodes to come here, so join us live.